Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sharon, and this is Classy Shades Designs. If you want to learn how to make this beautiful marble tumbler, then keep watching. So for today's DIY on Tumbler Tuesday, I'm going to use this glitter that I picked up from Hobby Lobby. It has a mixture of blues and silvers in it. I'm also going to use Recollections light blue and a couple of the India inks, which I also got from Hobby Lobby, but in a big package. I'm going to use black, blue, and of course white if I can hold on to it. These inks are very similar to alcohol ink, but they're more potent, and to me they have a stronger color. We're also going to use these two micas, a blue and a silver, to mix in our epoxy as well. I'm going to go ahead and put my gloves on, and off camera I mix together a big batch of epoxy because I'm not sure how much I'll need, but I'm going to separate them into these 3 coats so that we can then mix the India inks in them. I'll use the white ink as the first color, and it will also be the base on my marble tumbler. So I'm going to put about 3 drops of ink into my epoxy. Because I want it to sparkle and have a little bit of shimmer, I'm going to add some of this white, silverish white mica powder. And just a little bit will do. You can see here how much I'm going to add to it, just to give it a nice shimmer when you look at the cup. We'll make sure that everything's all mixed up really well together. Now, because I am using epoxy, I want you to be careful. Make sure that you have everything that you can protected, because 1, if epoxy gets on your table, it will stick, and 2, if it gets on you, it could be very, your skin could be allergic to it, and it could cause an allergic reaction. So please make sure that you use safety, work in a well ventilated area, and if you need to, you can wear a mask. I'm going to go ahead and add a couple of more drops of white ink because it's not quite as white as I want it to be. It was more iridescent, so I wanted to have a really heavy white appearance. Now that I've gotten that to the place that I want it to be, I'm going to go ahead and spread it on my 20-ounce hog here, and you can see that I've already taken this outside and prepped it and sprayed it white. You don't have to spray paint your cup white, but I can tell you it really makes a difference for the marble look to make sure that your base is a nice white. Now we're going to go ahead and spread all of this onto, all of the ink onto the tumbler, remembering that this is the ink mixed in the epoxy. Some people don't do it this way. Some people put on a plain clear base and then mix the white ink in it, but I skip that step and just go ahead and add it all together. Once I get this entire tumbler covered, I'll just let it spin until it evens itself out, because epoxy is self-leveling. Now I have my epoxy even, I've got all the bubbles burst. I'm going to go ahead and mix the rest of the epoxy colors together, and I'm also going to mix this blue mica powder, easy for me to say, in with the rest of the blue ink and epoxy, and we'll stir everything together. These are the colors that I'm going to use for my marbling. So oh my god, that makes that blue so pretty when you put that mica ink in it. The mica powder in with the blue ink makes it just adorable. Alright, I want to make sure that the camera's right and you can see what I'm doing here. So I'm taking the popsicle stick and I'm just going to wave just lines, not perfect. You don't want big globs, but you want some lines going all different directions. If you remember how marble is, we'll just spin it on the cup here. Just spread it as much or as little as you want. Remember, to these cups, there's no right, wrong. It's just whatever makes you happy. And you can always fix any happy mistakes that you find. So I'm going to just keep spreading. This black is what I'm using, black alcohol ink, to help marble it out. And then once I have the right amount of black on there, I'm going to go in with my blue at the same time before I do anything else, and do the same thing with the blue ink, adding it throughout different spots here and there on the cup. you guys, this blue is amazing. It is so pretty to me. I mean, the two of these mixed together, it's the Jacquard, I believe it is, and then the India ink mixed. So now that I've got everything on there, I'm going to speed this up a little bit, and I'm just going to take my finger and spread them out and make it thin, making sure to hit the bottom of the cup. We're just moving it along with my finger and marbling it out. If in any spot you get too much blue or too much black, then just come back in with your white epoxy mixture and thin that out some. So you can keep working this until you have the color and the cups looking the way that you want it to look. And I think I have this just about the way I want. I'm going to add a little bit more white in here because it was looking a little dark in some spots. Right here I see too much black, so I'm going to break that black up a little bit with some blue, and I'll wait till that comes back around, and then we'll spread that out with my finger. But this is looking so good. I'm going to leave it alone in a minute so that I don't mess it up, because I can tend to do that. I can work it so much that, oops, sorry, I didn't mean to hit the camera. I can work it so much that I will mess it up. Now that I've got everything, all my colors, my white, my black, and my blue on there the way that I want, I'm going to come in with some of that glitter that I showed you. I just mixed it in with the epoxy, and I'm going to spread it out the exact same way onto the tumbler. I'm not sure why my camera is shaking so much. Must not be on a, must be when I move the, maybe I'm bumping the table and it's making it shake. Anyway, I'm sorry about that. But we're just going to keep on adding the glitter onto the tumbler in different spots. You don't have to have it everywhere, just little places here and there, enough to give it a little shimmer. Again, if you put too much on, just break it up with some white. Now I'm going to let this spin overnight, and I'm going to allow it to sit and spin until it dries. Since I have this extra epoxy, I'm going to pour it into this mermaid tail because this blue is just beautiful. And then that way we won't waste our epoxy. We'll let it pour, and even the glitter, we'll pour it into the mermaid tail, and I think that will be just beautiful. All right, we'll let this dry overnight, and we'll come back and we'll see how it looks tomorrow. All right, welcome back, guys. I have allowed this cup to dry overnight, and guys, it is just gorgeous. I wish you could see the shimmer that's within the white and the blue. But now we need to go ahead and weed out our decal that we're going to put on it. I cut this on my Silhouette or Cricut, I'm not sure which one because I have both, but I didn't go through that on video because there are lots of videos here on YouTube which will help you learn how to work your cutting device if you have one of those. But when you're weeding, the only thing that I want to tell you is just make sure you're really careful, especially when you have these small words and small lines, because you don't want to pull anything up. I'm using the Oracle Vinyl 651, which is a permanent vinyl, and it works well under epoxy. I'm going to use gray and blue because I'm going to use the gray as a shadow behind the blue, and the blue is a shimmery metallic blue. So now that I have both of them weeded, I'm going to go ahead and take my carrier paper, and I'm going to pick the blue up first because I want the blue to be the top color. That's the color that I want everyone to see, and I'm going to varnish this really well to make sure that we pick up every piece of the lettering and decal onto the carrier paper. And of course I've gotten it stuck here, so let me lift that up. All right, and when I take off my paper, I varnish it across the back, but when I take it off, I kind of push down on it and bend it at the same time. So I'm pushing down and bending it off, and I usually have really good success. Be careful when you're pulling it off, because if you pull it off too fast, you can rip or stretch your vinyl. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to rip or stretch it. Now what I'm going to do is just line the blue up slightly off-centered, slightly offset on the gray. And you'll notice I have my proverb, my scripture there is not with blue on it, because I just want that to kind of be a shadowing on the whole design. So we've got everything labeled, and look at how pretty that is. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see it's kind of offset? You can see it real good on the steel that it's offset from, the gray is offset from the blue. Now I'll just look for a place on my tumbler to find out where I want to cover up. Look for any bad spot or any spot that you think has way too much color to it, and just use that to cover. Use your decal to help disguise any blemishes that you may have. I'll use all my items here to help the cup from rolling. And I think I'm going to also, instead of having it straight up and down, I'm going to go with the flow of the cup and lay this sideways on here. So I found my location where I want to put it. I'll put my middle down first and make sure that that's varnished on well, and then of course varnish your sides on. And when you get ready to remove your carrier tape, just make sure again that you go slow, pull down and away, and make sure that you do not pull or rip your vinyl. Go as slow as you can if you need to. And that's, oh, we're rolling there. But that's what it looks like now that it's on the cup. And so we'll put a final coat of epoxy on this and let this baby dry. Isn't it beautiful? So much fun. I just love the color and the dimension, and I wish you could see the shimmer, but it's awesome. So leave me a comment down below, and thanks for watching.